Hey everybody, today we're at the MAHA Institute's Weaponization of Science, Flaws and Fraud in Research Roundtable in Washington, D.C., talking to some panelists about how science can be manipulated and weaponized against the people it's supposed to protect.
I think the weaponization of science is the distortion and manipulation of science for political or influential means. I think often science today is used as a tool for trying to control the narrative, and in the end it's the patients that get harmed by commercial interests.
What we're seeing is the academic literature has been turned into marketing for either corporations or for specific ideological interests.
Science has been weaponized in a number of ways, but the one that I'm most interested in is how the means of producing evidence has been captured by pharma because of the resources it has. And what pharma does is it asks questions in the best way possible, so on the surface it appears that it has the best evidence, but what it's hiding is that it's asking all the wrong questions.
For lack of a better word, they could fix scientific results in the favor that they want to.
Absolutely. They can censor scientific results. You know, when you publish science against the mainstream narrative, I've been looking at vaccine adverse events and vaccine injuries and publishing, in that regard for over 20 years now. Much of that science is censored. Papers will appear in scientific journals, and then all of a sudden the journal will receive some type of external pressure, either from government officials or from pharmaceutical officials, to take down that paper, to retract it.
Possible fixes need to be more transparency on the money that are going in, the people who are writing these articles and who's supporting the articles, and we need to see the data from studies published become public, because so that way people can go back and analyze that data themselves.
Could you name some times for our audience in recent history where science was weaponized?
Yeah, absolutely. Take the 95% efficacy claim by Moderna and Pfizer. The way that they actually manipulated the data to make it look like there was 95% efficacy by their measure was to only count patients that made it through the vaccination program up to 2 weeks after the second dose.
And how could we stop weaponization of these agencies and weaponization of science?
Well, we have to actually penalize people, penalize the behavior of falsifying studies.
Really, to get industry influence out of the federal government needs to be an independent arbiter of what the science is, and also to be able to allow researchers to ask questions regardless of whether they're popular, regardless of whether they're lucrative, but to be able to investigate, freely, without fear of reprisal, some of these really, really key questions regarding vaccines, regarding pharmaceuticals, regarding chemical additives, regarding environmental contaminants. These are things that have been taboo for years because of industry capture, and now by de-weaponizing science and really taking industry influence out of the federal government, then the federal government can encourage these independent inquiries.
Reporting for LindellTV at the Willard Hotel in Washington, D.C., I'm Cara Castronuova.